What's going on, guys? Gregles TV. My guest today, you might remember, was a very notable contributor to the very respected and popular site Pocketnow, and has since joined Mobile Nations and has begun his own tech channel on YouTube known as MrMobile, and in just 6 months has amassed over 270,000 subscribers and over 21 million views. The man of the hour, the best, coolest guy on Snapchat, MrMobile, Michael Fisher. What's going on, buddy?
Greg, what is going on is that you have lowered my expectations for the intro and once again blown me away. I am much less important than Greg is making me sound, everyone.
No.
Thank you, sir.
You're very important. No, I'm loving the new channel for sure. It's awesome. But
thank you.
So obviously you went from something very comfortable at Pocketnow. I don't know how comfortable, but I mean, they're a well-established site. And now you started your own channel. What were your emotions going into starting MrMobile?
There were so many of them. But the overriding one as we got close to launch was, besides stress and frenetic energy of an unfocused type, was fear. Because as I was just today on another on a podcast, we were talking about tech stuff, but somehow this came up, and I was like, I thought that at some point I was away from the internet for about 3 months in between those gigs, 3 or 4 months, and I was convinced that everyone had forgotten that I existed, because the internet goes fast. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just the internet; it's tech internet, right? So a phone that was released 6 months ago is officially old. So I'm like, no one's going to remember, no one's going to stick around, and thankfully I was wrong about that. But I had no way of knowing that before June 22nd, which was the launch day. So when we went live, it was very gratifying to see that people showed up.
That's what I was gonna say. That's what was interesting to me is you kind of said you were leaving Pocketnow and you ended up, it was kind of in limbo in a way. We did our interview the first time, which for me did amazing. It's been my best interview thus far, view wise.
Oh, good.
And it was very interesting I wanted everyone to know that what happened with you. And I was wanting to know too. So, it was cool to just be able to do that. So knowing what you know now, obviously you went in there. What kind of obstacles did you have to overcome to get to where you are today with that MrMobile channel?
So I want to, you said before that I sort of went off on my own, and that's true in a brand sense. Like MrMobile is a kind of island, but I want to make it clear that this is not all me. So on the video side, from scripting to shooting to editing, that's all me. Making the videos, that's me. But I have a fantastic amount of support from the team at Mobile Nations, who are the team behind Android Central and Windows Central and iMore and Crackberry. So I get a lot of help on the marketing side, on the everything that's not directly related to shooting the video. So that's been a giant help. People always ask me, like, well, I'm thinking of starting up my own YouTube channel. Like, what should I do? And I think you absolutely should. And all you really need is a camera and a cool idea. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I think it tends to look a lot easier when you have, as I was fortunate to have, a sort of a pre-installed audience and a lot of support from the production side. So that being said, I don't discourage anyone from doing it. What was the question again, Greg? I forgot what we were talking about.
Yeah, like what obstacles did you have to overcome? Because you went in. You're right. You did have a pre-install audience. People knew you from Pocketnow, so you had this audience that already knew you. So, I mean, you had to overcome.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you maybe didn't have to overcome anything.
No, I did. No, I'm still overcoming it. As a matter of fact, there's something called lock-in that happens in a lot of industries, in a lot of creative industries, where whether you're writing or shooting stuff or doing anything creative, you tend to get comfortable in it, right? Because we're all creatures of habit, And you're like, well, I've got this system that works, so I'll just keep doing it over and over again. And one of the things that you'll find is that you get bored. And if you get bored, then everyone else is getting bored too.
Yeah.
So I've had to work on, despite the fact that I have all new equipment compared to what I had at Pocketnow, I have an all new studio. Everything is new except for the sound booth, which is the same booth I was in when we spoke last time. My methods are the same. So I have to constantly avoid, like, I'll go and rewrite half a script after I look at it, after I've completed, okay, I'm ready to shoot. Let me just read it one more time. No. I've written this script 7 times this way. This sucks. Let me go revamp this thing, because if you fall into that rut, that's a pretty quick way to bore people.
Have you ever tried to, because you kind of talked about that last time, you like to write a script out, and have you ever tried to go into it just like freestyle?
Yeah, I mean, I used to do that. I think when I first started doing stuff at Pocketnow, we did that at least for the hands-on stuff. But it doesn't work as well for me. It works great for a lot of people whose talents I admire. I'm not, I'm not saying it's an invalid approach.
Yeah.
It's just not the right one for me. I like to know exactly, because that's the sequence goes like script it, edit the damn script, edit it again. And by the time it's gone through a couple passes, I think I'm pretty right about most of the things I'm saying. Whereas if I'm just sort of riffing, I end up wasting a lot of time by saying things that are either wrong or, not couched the way I want to say them.
So speaking of, you write these scripts, and I think you release videos on Wednesdays and Fridays. Is that correct?
That's how it's supposed to go, but life interrupts. But yeah, Wednesdays and Fridays is ideally ideally the days.
What's like a typical day for you, work wise, or maybe even after work? Like, what's if you want to get personal?
Sure. It's 18 beers, man. No, it depends on whether it's one of 3 days. It's a scripting day, a shooting day, or an editing day for me, and sometimes those overlap. But of those, the scripting days, it happens in that sequence, obviously. And of those, the most fun I have, I think, are on the scripting and editing days. Shooting is a kind of a pain. It's a physical activity. You know how it is. And people don't realize, people leave me comments sometimes like, well, your hands are shaking. It's like, okay, that's because I'm like snaking my way under a tripod and like looking through a viewfinder and holding up a phone like this for 20 minutes and trying to get focused. So when I script, I'm doing it typically not in the studio. The studio is really cool, but it's in an industrial part of town that there's not a lot to do here. So I'm usually at a coffee shop closer to my house where I prefer to be when I'm just laying down ideas. Shooting happens here, and then the editing days, they're also a lot of fun too, because I can do that from anywhere, and that's not a lot of fun to look at because it's just me, clicking away on a computer, like you know how it is. But I like those days most because I can do them from anywhere, and that's what the whole mobile thing's about.
So a typical day, like, so are you editing and or shooting for 8 hours a day, or is it like 4 hours a day? Like, how many hours do you actually think? I sound like the Bobs from.
No, yeah. What would you say you do here?
How many hours? Are you putting 4 hours a day? I mean,
no, it's more like 10 because there's a lot going on just to do the video, like the YouTube videos of the Halo product, and those are where the most time goes. But there's a whole social component. I've got the whole Facebook thing. I've got a producer that helps with a lot of the social stuff and a lot of just the maintenance of the studio and all this stuff. But they're between 9 and 11-hour days usually. The longer ones can go up to 12 or 13. And I think I did the math recently. I tweeted it. I wish I'd written it down because I forgot what it is. But I think for every completed minute of YouTube video, there's about... Didn't I?
8 hours or something crazy?
It was something nutso. No, because it used to be an hour to a minute. So I think it's something more like 2 hours to a minute now, or 2 or 3 hours to a minute. But yeah, it's crazy when you're a stupid perfectionist.
So you've had so many devices. You've reviewed phones, and I think I've seen you review cars. I don't know about drones, but there's so many of these, all these devices that you see every single day. So, like, what do you really? It's kind of a two-part question, so I'll give you just the first part now. What do you really enjoy reviewing currently?
Anything that sort of gets me out of the studio and out of the regular rotation. I mean, I love doing phones. Phones are what I know how to do really well. Phones and watches and tablets. But like, when I get to do an electric car, that's just stupid amounts of fun. Yeah. It's a lot more work because you've got 5 or 6 cameras and somebody and a drone pilot and all this kind of stuff. But just getting out of the studio, literally being mobile, that's the most intoxicating thing because it's so much more exciting. Yeah. Both in real life and on video to do that. So I love doing those. And also, those little robots, those little origami robots that I did are these little toys that whether or not they have a higher purpose or not, they're just fun to play with, Unfortunately, those are the videos that tend to get the fewest views.
Yeah.
So
Phones are definitely people love their phones right now currently.
Yeah, man, smartphones are still where it's at. And it's hilarious because everyone else is like, smartphones are over. Smartphones are boring. Who cares about smartphones? I'm sitting here like, okay, I just did CES and like a BlackBerry gave me the most views of the whole show, more than all the other videos combined. Like, phones are not over,
So you obviously like doing electric cars and little robots. What's something you would like to cover that you have not, or maybe that you've only done once, or you just like to do more of?
Cruises. Yeah.
Like a boat cruise?
Yeah, like a boat cruise.
Oh, you mean you don't mean like a I can't think of the boat cruise companies.
Like a Carnival cruise or right. And no, it's funny because I just pitched all of them and I didn't hear back from a single one of them yet. Because no. And I'm not in the sense of like a travel reviewer or a travel blogger, though I like that kind of stuff. But, cruise ships for some reason are where a lot of technology is going right now. A couple years ago, there was a cruise ship announced with a robot bartender where like you literally walk up to the bar and this robot arm, makes the drink you order on a tablet or something. So that kind of stuff, I'm a nautical nerd, I'm a travel nerd, and I'm a technology nerd. And all those things come together really well aboard cruise ships. So that's what I would like to do.
That's interesting. Yeah, I remember seeing cruise ships at CES this year. At least I saw one. I know that.
Somebody brought a cruise ship to Vegas?
No. Yeah, no. It was what did the cruise ship? You said it a second ago. The cruise ship,
Carnival, or
one of those companies was at CES.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They were. Oh man,
I didn't do my research. I should have gone to visit them.
Yeah, they were there. Actually, you mentioned robots, and what do you actually? I saw a robot, not a ton of robots, but. What do you think about robots so far with the technology that's out there with it? Because I saw there's a lot of companies at CES that had robots. I don't know. It's very early on with what they can do. But what do you think?
Yeah, I think that somebody still has to come up with a really compelling use case for them, right? Because it's getting easier to make AI that we can talk to.
Yeah.
I just got an Echo Dot for the first time yesterday, and still learning how that works.
Your Snapchat.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to learn. If you ask it for tea Earl Grey hot, that's a really fun trip. But a robot though, that exists as a physical presence and like walks itself around, that's cute. And a lot of companies have made those, but they're not terribly useful. And I think you need a practical use case for them, unless you're just going to buy it as a toy, which is totally fine because I have a BB-8 Sphero and he's my favorite. So.
Very cool. So let's get to some of the fun questions now. These are from some of my viewers. I put a quick 24-hour video up just to see if they had any questions for you. And,
cool.
So hopefully these aren't too lowbrow.
I love them already.
What kind of gel do you use, Michael?
You're talking about my hair gel now.
Of course.
So it's not gel. It actually used to be. It's a sculpted molding cream, which is just the sexiest product name ever, from American Crew. It's the American Crew fiber line. Yeah. Yes.
What do you think?
What kind do you use, Greg? Hold on.
I use Suavecito.
Oof, I've never even heard of that.
I have a cold. Sorry, everyone. No, I think it's from Southern California. I think that's why I might not know about it.
My, all right. Well, I'll put it on the list.
It's a pomade. You can get it firm hold or actually, one of the Jonathan from TLD today. He put a tweet about it yesterday. Funny enough, he put a picture of it. I don't know why. I don't know why he did, but he did.
Awesome.
Best smartwatch regardless of operating system.
Regardless of operating system is like that's you can't answer that question, right? It's like I mean, if you have an iPhone, you should buy an Apple Watch because iOS cripples everything else. Yeah. So for the iPhone, the Apple Watch is the best. For a Samsung phone, in fact, the Gear S3 is the best. You know what I mean? They're all they're all siloed. But if you really made me pick one, I'd say the Pebble's really great. Oh, never mind. It got bought by Fitbit. So the Vector watch is really, never mind. It got bought by Fitbit. So the best smartwatch better be the smartwatch that Fitbit builds at the end of this year or the beginning of next. Because if they don't, or if it's crappy, they're
gone.
I'm never buying a Fitbit product because they're really, they better do a good one.
So what's a pastime that you do that might surprise your viewers? Something that you do.
Yeah, there's a couple, but no one's going to be no one's going to be surprised by the fact that I spend inordinate hours watching Star Trek, or that I occasionally go out on the boat with my father. Or oh no, that's probably it. I was going to say I'm the only guy in history, I think, who likes Star Wars Battlefront, or the only one who will admit to it, because I play that way too much on the Xbox One. Yeah, no, my father and I have a YouTube channel that I actually should mention more often, because I think we talked about it.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
That's where a lot of my free time used to go. MrMobile's been soaking up some of my time now, so much of my time now that we haven't, I've been neglecting it, and I should reverse that trend. But my father and I have a YouTube channel where he builds extensively elaborate scale models, mostly boats and rockets and aircraft, and I film them the best I can. And some of them come out pretty epic, so that's an awful lot of fun. I'll wait to plug that.
You did. That's actually how I found your contact information last time. I think was when I went to. You have a website, right? You and your
it was rapidnadion.com.
Yeah, because I don't think I found you. I was having trouble finding your email address last time, and then
after I'd left Pocketnow, right?
Yeah, I went there and I found it.
Well, I'm sorry for the repeat thing, so that won't surprise anybody else. But yeah, and the rest of it is just walking for miles and miles playing Ingress. That might surprise some people.
Oh yeah. I remember you mentioned. Where did you mention that on one of your videos?
I just saw that. It was my fitness app pick.
Yeah,
for 2017.
That's what it was.
That game will get you walking.
It's a surprising way to get you walking. Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, my last question, if you're ready.
I am ready.
If there was a movie on your life, who would play it, and what would it be called?
This took me a second. Okay, who would play me? I would just be so honored. And this movie would have to be made, I think, would have to be set about 20 years from now, I hope. I think I would really love it if Jeff Daniels would play future me, because I'm such a nerd for Aaron Sorkin's The Newsroom on HBO, which had a criminally short run, and I just love the character he plays on that show. So I would love if Jeff Daniels would play future old guy me. And I think the movie would have to be called The Contrarian. So I don't mean to be, but I'll often fall into the habit of, what did you said A. All right. Well, B. So how about that? So,
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it, Michael. If you guys want to follow him, I'll have all his links in the description down below, including his boat channel. So you can check that out. Anything else you want to say, Michael?
Just thank you again, Greg. I had a fantastic interview with you last time, and it is actually really nice to be able to sit here and after that, all of that stress and lack of certainty, sort of be a little more chill this time. And I always love having conversations with you, and I see that your channel is doing very well as well. So congratulations on that, and thank you for having me on it.
Thank you. Actually, one final question, if you don't mind. And I asked this last time, but maybe it changed, and people are always looking to get bigger and better on their YouTube channels. What's something that that people can take away to get bigger and better and improve their own YouTube channels? Like, do you have any good advice you can give them?
Yeah, I think, and I don't remember what my answer was to this last time, so it may be the same answer. But I think you have to be willing to put a lot of time in. I always say that you should be able to say something that not everyone else is saying, and you shouldn't just emulate what everyone else is doing. But yeah, you don't be afraid to lose yourself in the work, because if you love it, and you should love it if you're doing this, because it's really hard to do if you don't, then you should be willing to put the time in. This is not easy stuff.
I agree. That's great advice. Guys, again, follow Michael. He does awesome videos. I love his channel, and you should too, all right? All right, guys. We'll see you guys down the road. Peace.